The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow, tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy.
You are listening to Canary Crime News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Crime News Talk. Today is September 4th, 2020. This is episode 239. And today, Prophecies, the AI Jesus. That's right, folks. And bleep, bleep, bloop. I'm your best buddy, Basil.
And this is Gonz. Welcome back to another episode that we record live on many different platforms, waiting for Twitch to come online. It doesn't look like it's connected yet. From my end, anyway.
I'm watching it. I got it.
Okay. Yeah. Nobody in the chat, though. That's weird.
It's not coming through the chat. Yeah, weird how Twitch chat is not coming through.
Yeah. Very low numbers again. I don't know. YouTube just doesn't like us. But anyway, if you guys are here live, thank you so much for joining us. And if you're listening later, then you're going to get the clean audio version with no hiccups or drop-offs or other issues that we battle.
Yeah. We may have fixed the buffering problem. No guarantees, but we're trying our best. And Gonz, maybe when I don't know, maybe you can click around and try to get the chat going through the Twitch. That is strange. But anyways, we're back. Gonz, any news from the past couple days? And anything important we need to know about your life?
Pray for us because we still have no AC and it's supposed to be very hot here over the weekend. So
that is crazy, man.
Yeah, our landlord is just not really nice to us.
We've been asking. You don't want to start an online war against your landlord.
Well, we've been asking for them to fix our AC for a couple years now. It's been an uphill battle. It's their property.
A couple of years. You haven't had air conditioning in a couple of years.
Well, kind of.
Or just failing, slow decline.
Yeah, well, we found out that the refrigerant is basically illegal now. It's a unit from 1994. So the refrigerant that they're using because of the environmental laws and stuff.
Oh yeah, your California environmental laws.
Yeah, climate change laws. So now, 2010 they made it illegal. And then now in 2020, it's like literally illegal to ship. So you can still buy it for old machines, but it costs way more. And so our landlord's trying to save money because they don't want to fix a 26-year-old AC unit and pay a lot of money.
Sweating it out over there.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yes, we'll pray for your air conditioner. Maybe it will resurrect for you.
Yeah, hopefully. I'm still not getting chat here from Twitch. I don't know. Oh, there's Twitch on the screen anyway. I don't know if the chat's working, but yeah, good stuff.
Great. Well, are you going to ask me what else is new?
Oh, yeah, sure, Basil. What else is new with your endeavors to become the first podcaster in a mech suit?
Don't be so specific. I got a Twitter, Gonz. That's the whole thing. That's my first step. I've got a Twitter. Well, I've had the Twitter for 5 years, but all I've had on it is automatic uploads of the Joyspiracy Theory. But I'm officially there. It's renamed. I'm there, and that's a whole different world, Gonz. I don't know how you've been doing it for so long. I feel like I'm still struggling to find my Twitter voice. You know. Try to figure out exactly what sort of
it's not good for
brand I'm bringing to the Twitter sphere. So far, my Twitter life has been a mixture of harassing Elon Musk for money. It's dangerous. It's too much of a quick thing, a quick process tweeting, because I just randomly got bored last night and started. There's a new show out for HBO Max called Raised by Wolves, and it's very sort of Luciferian and human alien seeding and this whole thing. I haven't watched it yet. That's just what I've gathered from what I can see. So I just kind of hijacked the trending hashtag Raised by Wolves for a while. and shared some facts, talked about the Uyghurs for a little bit in China, talked about central banking, a little bit about Epstein, just throwing it into the trending hashtag, just to, add to the conversation. Not very fruitful endeavor, but there's that. And then other than that, just nothing. I'm still working on it, Guns. I have been sort of pestering Prosthesis Racing Mechs. That is the company that I'm trying to become a mech pilot for. And on the last show, I talked about how, I think we can make that happen. I think, between all the YouTube channels and the download numbers on the podcast and things like that, I was pretty confident that we could get me in for some mech pilot lessons without having to pay the $13,000. But I looked at the other people who have gotten free lessons, and one of them is an Olympic athlete, which I can't quite measure up to. But there's another influencer, another YouTube channel person. I'm like, oh, well, maybe I can leverage Face Like the Sun YouTube channel to try to get in there. Well, no, I checked this guy out. He's called The Hacksmith, and he's kind of a builder type guy. And he has 9.5 million subscribers on YouTube.
Awesome.
So kind of in a different league than I think I can break into right now. So I don't know. I'm going to keep trying, though. I've been pestering Prosthesis Robotics. They have yet to pay any attention to me. They did like a tweet that I tweeted. Now, here's the thing. The problem is, first of all, since yesterday or 2 days ago when I booted up the Twitter again, I have gotten over 200 new followers. Is that what they're called on Twitter? Followers? Yeah. Over 200 new followers, and the Prosthesis Racing Mech company has like 800 now, and I'm thinking I need to get above their number for them to really pay attention to me.
Yeah.
Right, so I need everybody's help. If you have a Twitter, you need to follow me at Basil_Rosewater. Follow me there. Help me. You'll really be helping me out. I need to get the attention of this mech racing league so I can pursue my life goal of becoming a mech pilot / robot jocks.
Yeah. Every time I send a little chat thing out, I do get a little X under the Twitch thing. I get a connection error.
Oh,
so
yeah, no, not
I'm wondering if I
connected.
disconnect and connect again. Would
Maybe
that
just
do it?
Twitter? Could you do it with just Twitter?
You mean just Twitch?
What?
You mean just Twitch, not
yes.
Twitter?
Sorry, got Twitter on the brain.
Yeah, let me try this. It might mess with Twitch for a moment, but I turned it off here, and I'm
All right,
turning it back
stick around,
on. Sorry,
Twitchy
Twitch
people.
Folks.
And don't worry, we're going to get to the show here in a second.
Yeah, we're just trying to get
another one of these low number days, just for a peek behind the curtain for people.
There we go.
When we're live streaming, we kind of need to stall for a couple of minutes at the beginning of the show to let everybody join. And that just doesn't seem to be happening. The past 2 episodes we've had have been extremely low numbers, specifically from YouTube. So there's some more shadow banning and stuff going on there, I think, which is another reason why you need to follow us on multiple platforms in order to make sure you catch the show.
I think it worked.
Yeah, I think
We
you fixed it. You did it. Good job.
I did it. I clicked buttons rightly.
You know what that means?
Flippy update.
It's time for a Flippy update.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
Okay, folks, so it's time for your Flippy update for the day. For those who don't know, Flippy is the colloquial name we have for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We use it as a conversation, not just about disembodied robot arms, but how robots and AI are making their way into our lives without us even noticing. And cons, oh man, if there's ever been a Flippy update that really directly affects me, this is it.
Okay.
It says, this is from newatlas.com, and the headline is Indian Robot Climbs Trees to Harvest Coconuts.
Ooh.
Oh no, my long family tradition of climbing coconut trees is about to be taken over by the robots. Let's see. The article reads, as the population increasingly moves toward tech jobs, there's now a shortage of coconut harvesters in India. Oh my gosh. That's why scientists there have built a tree climbing coconut harvesting robot that could perhaps someday take up the slack. Like, they're really tempering expectations.
Yeah.
It could perhaps someday take up some of the slack. So I don't know, maybe coconut harvesters are safe, but the prototype device was created by a team at Amrita Vishwa Vidyapitham University, led by assistant professor Rajesh Kannan Megalingam, known as Amaran. It's currently in its 6th incarnation. Oh, see, we had to use incarnation because it's from India, Gons.
Mm-hmm.
Get it?
Like reincarnation.
Yeah, and has been in development for 3 years. In a 15-minute process, users start by manually assembling the robot's ring-shaped body around the base of the coconut tree, utilizing its 8 upward-facing omnidirectional rubber wheels. Amaran then makes its way up to the top. A user wirelessly controls it from the ground, utilizing either a joystick unit or a smartphone app to move it up and down and to rotate it around the trunk. Once the robot has reached the coconuts, its arm is extended and positioned at the base of a bunch of ripe coconuts. Utilizing a circular saw blade on the end of an arm, Amaran then cuts through the base, allowing the coconuts to fall to the ground. In field tests conducted at a coconut farm, I'm glad they found a coconut farm in India to test this robot. The robot successfully climbed up trees up to 15.2 meters. That's about 50 feet in height, with trunk inclinations of up to 30 degrees. Additionally, while human coconut harvesters were found to work faster, Amaran could work for longer, potentially making up the difference. And there you go. They got a little video there. Not a whole lot of great footage in the video. But I think, don't worry, breathe easy, sleep sound, coconut harvesters. This still requires a remote control, a pilot. Ooh, if the racing mech pilot doesn't work out for me, I could always pilot the coconut harvesting robot.
I can picture monkeys just getting mad and just kicking these things down.
Imagination. Yeah. Yes, this is where the robot war begins. Not between humans and robots, but between monkeys and robots fighting over coconuts.
Yeah.
Oh, man. This is how, as it is written, so it shall be.
There is a mechanical arm with like a razor blade on the end of it that you can see in the video here.
Circular saw.
Circular saw, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good time. It's a clunky robot, which, they've been working on it for 3 years. I feel like they should be a little bit further ahead.
Well,
get some AI in that sucker.
Yeah, little difference in funding over there in India compared to Silicon Valley.
Yeah, plus, just a little bit.
Probably no rush.
But there you go, Gon. So, yeah, coconut harvesters, you're not in any immediate danger of losing your jobs. Apparently, kind of similar to the U.S., education and job prospects are so geared towards tech now that some of the dirty jobs, as they're called, are going unfilled. So you might be, coconut harvesting might become a pretty lucrative gig. If you're specialized, and all the kids coming out of tech school decide that that's not how they want to spend their days, up in the trees.
I like how it takes like 6 or 7 people to set it up, like around the tree. It's like, just get one guy running up there. It might be faster.
Kind of like a Caltrans type of situation. You got Bob digging the hole, but then you need Steve to supervise. You need Larry to be there for union reasons. You need a few guys to dig a hole. Okay, well, that's good. At least we're making progress with the robot farm harvesting material. Yeah. All right, cool. Well, we got a bunch of quick updates here, and let's see, jingle for that.
We interrupt this broadcast to give you a brief update. By the end of this timely interruption, you will be thoroughly updated.
And we have a few headlines here with 33.
33 is the number of completion of the Great War.
DeSotoTimes.com, COVID-19 in Mississippi. MSDH reports 781 new cases, 33 deaths on Wednesday.
Mm,
Yeah, 33
classic.
deaths. Yeah, classic 33 death. Another headline from, what is this? Oops. LexCH.com. September starts with large spike in COVID-19 cases. 33 reported on Wednesday for
Classic.
Dawson County. Watch out, Dawson. Dawson's Creek? I don't know.
Yeah, is that where Dawson's Creek is?
I don't know. And then this one was really interesting. This is from StarTribune.com. Portugal, young climate activists take 33 countries to court. 6 young Portuguese activists launched Thursday a European human rights case against 33 countries in the latest legal effort to force governments to step up their fight against climate change.
Ooh.
So, yeah, I mean, if that's not signaling, I don't know what is.
Right.
How many countries are we going to go after? 33. Good.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's a good ritual number to,
Yeah.
get your message across.
Yeah. It'll really get all those Freemasons to start, working on fighting climate change like they're supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
Sarcasm. Okay. The other thing that I wanted to give you guys an update on is concerning COVID here.
COVID.
I'll spare everybody with the toilet flushing sound effect.
Oh, thank you.
using.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Does that mean it's another toilet
Yeah.
related
You know,
COVID
it's
thing?
funny. We've been on this, and people just catch up to what we've reported. But this is QZ.com. Cities are using poop to look for early COVID-19 outbreaks. We warned you. They're gonna get into our poop
Yeah.
to try to find it. So far, COVID-19 testing has failed miserably to track the progress of the pandemic in the U.S. Not everyone who has the virus can access swab-based diagnostic tests, and once they do, their results are often massively delayed by scheduling bottlenecks or short-stocked supplies. But scientists are hoping that a simple fact of life will complement swab testing. Everybody poops. In cities across the U.S., ranging from Boston, Massachusetts in the northeast to Las Vegas, Nevada in the southeast, scientists are working with public health officials to conduct wastewater-based epidemiology. Research early in the pandemic showed that people infected with SARS-CoV-2 shed bits of the virus's genetic material in their feces. So by measuring the viral load in sewage, public health officials can get an idea of how prevalent the coronavirus is within a community. It's interesting. We reported on the company that was doing this in Israel. Notice how it came from Israel. Now it's here. A pattern, perhaps, of various other things.
So they're expanding it to the U.S.
Yeah.
Does this mean soon for COVID testing we'll get to mail a stool sample?
I don't know.
That is some COVID testing I think some people would be down for.
Yeah, I'm sure you'd fake it with like cat poop or something, and they're like your feline levels.
Mail your stool. You get to send a message and comply with testing regulations.
Oh my gosh. Okay, and if that wasn't enough, if this update wasn't enough, I'm gonna edit the headline here because I don't want to fully read what it says because it's just not appropriate for this show.
Uh-oh.
But this BusinessInsider.com, this smart toilet can read your behind, like a fingerprint, say scientists.
Ooh.
This is actually from April.
Like a fingerprint? Oh,
like
gosh.
a fingerprint.
Oh, no.
I'll read some of the bullet points here. Stanford researchers are developing a smart toilet that uses biometrics to identify people's butts and analyze their poop.
Yeah, because that's just what everybody wants is a camera in their toilet.
The toilet is meant to detect, quote, a range of disease marker in stool and urine, including multiple types of cancer. I'm sure this will be adapted for the coronavirus. It's been tested on 21 people. Researchers also surveyed 300 prospective users, and roughly half said they were comfortable with the idea.
Yeah,
the other half
did not
said,
get surveyed
no, thank
for
you.
this. Strange.
Stanford University scientists. They got nothing better to do. But
that's our research money going to a good place.
Surveil our other end. So
yeah.
There you go. That's some updates. And
they're obsessed. They seem very obsessed with this sort of scatological identification.
I'm imagining, doing some kind of lineup, and it's like, was that you in there? Like, no, officer.
Yeah, it's going to be part of mugshots now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying,
geez.
I don't want to go on with that analogy. Because
Okay, let's move on.
Let's
Gons,
go on.
do you ever feel like you're being watched?
Did you ever have the feeling that you were being watched?
This is from threatpost.com. This is a crazy outlet. I don't even know. Threat Post. I think it's like a security, like a cybersecurity blog, but let's get into it.
Okay.
This was some pretty exciting news, Gons. The Edward Snowden case had an update recently.
Yep.
And of course, this is, sort of a seminal issue for us. And I think a lot of people concerned with security, cybersecurity, government spying, stuff like that. Really, it was the situation that caused a revolution in regular people paying attention to our privacy as far as the government's concerned. And the headline is titled, NSA Mass Surveillance Program Illegal, U.S. Court Rules. So we finally have a ruling on the NSA just doing mass surveillance of American citizens. The NSA argued its mass surveillance program stopped terrorist attacks, but a new U.S. court ruling found that this is not and may have even been unconstitutional. Oh, this is not and may have even been unconstitutional. So maybe it is not constitutional is what they meant. Moving on. A U.S. federal appeals court ruled that the controversial National Security Agency mass surveillance program exposed in 2013, that was right after we started Canary Cry Radio, was illegal and may have been unconstitutional. The call comes 7 years after former NSA contractor and whistleblower Edward Snowden outed the mass surveillance program, which enabled snooping in on millions of American phone calls in a bombshell leak that drew widespread worries about privacy. Quote, 7 years ago, as the news declared I was being charged as a criminal for speaking the truth, I never imagined that I would live to see our courts condemn the NSA's activities as unlawful and in the same ruling credit me for exposing them, Snowden said on Twitter Wednesday. Oh, maybe I should talk to Snowden on Twitter. After Snowden in his 2013 exposed the NSA's phone record collection program, many argued for the program, saying it had successfully thwarted terrorist attacks. Representative Mike Rogers, a Michigan Republican who chairs the House Intelligence Committee, for instance, said that the NSA surveillance program had stopped more than 50 terrorist attacks. Then they have his tweet there, not important. The NSA, for its part, echoed claims program had helped foil terrorist attacks, pointing to a specific case against Bazali Maoulen, a Somali immigrant who was convicted of conspiring to support terrorist group Al-Shabaab. However, in an appeals case for Maoulen, as well as 3 other Somali immigrants who supported terrorist organizations, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit on Wednesday ruled that the illegally collected phone records actually did not play a pivotal role in the case. In fact, the court ruled that the collection of Americans' phone records was actually illegal and may have also violated the Fourth Amendment, which gives Americans security against unreasonable searches and seizures. Quote, the panel affirmed the convictions of 4 members of the Somali diaspora for sending or conspiring to send $10,900 to Somalia to support a foreign terrorist organization in an appeal that raised complex questions regarding the U.S. government's authority to collect bulk data about its citizens' activities under the auspices of a foreign intelligence investigation, as well as the rights of a criminal defendant when the prosecution uses information derived from foreign intelligence services.
Surveillance.
Oh, that was one sentence.
Yeah, yes. Surveillance, not services.
Yes, surveillance. This week, privacy advocates such as the ACLU praised the ruling. Quote, this ruling, which confirms what we have always known, is a victory for our privacy rights, according to the American Civil Liberties Union. on Twitter Wednesday. Alex Abdo, litigation director with Knight First Amendment Institute, noted on Twitter that the court held that the government must provide notice to criminal defendants prosecuted with evidence that's been derived from NSA surveillance. In, quote, perhaps the court's most unprecedented and therefore significant move, the quote continues, the work to rein in overreaching NSA surveillance is far from over, but it's worth pausing to consider that nearly all the progress we've made has come because of disclosures criminalized by a law, the Espionage Act, that makes no exception for disclosures in the public interest, he said. Snowden, for his part, still faces of espionage charges in the U.S. In 2013, after Snowden leaked thousands of classified documents about top secret surveillance programs to journalists that shed light on U.S. spying efforts. The U.S. Department of Justice charged him for violating the Espionage Act and for stealing government property, for which he faces at least 30 years in jail. The U.S. has also sued Snowden over his new memoir, alleging he published the book in violation of non-disclosure agreements signed with both the CIA and NSA. So there you go, kind of a victory. It's not often we get to hear victories in this world, much less the security world when it comes to government surveillance. So officially considered illegal what the NSA was doing, which is a big step. Now, doesn't the fact that this all happened in 2013 and it was a totally different world and there are now other concerns to worry about is not lost on me, but it is nice just to have that little trophy we get to put in the case, Gons.
Yeah, whether you believe Snowden was a plant to release this information or not, I don't know either way, but I don't think he should go to jail for this. But they're definitely trying to nail him down on being a snitch.
Yeah, it was kind of sad because even the sort of patriot type people, in some cases, were even harsher on Snowden than anybody. But it kind of shows the complexity, that kind of screws with the left-right paradigm,
Yeah.
Or at least shows that there are shades in between, or removing yourself entirely from the paradigm is what we believe is the answer.
The narrow path, yeah, and the it's interesting because 7 years later they finally announced that it's illegal, but as the article states, there's if we're 7 years behind in a public situation like this, then how much more ahead are they on actual surveillance? And, who knows? If you've gone restroom in the public, they might already have information that you thought was private based on some other, stories that we read earlier. But the other thing, I did have one more point. I don't remember exactly what it was. Now I'm losing it. I'm losing my mind. It had something to do with, I don't know.
Yeah, what do you think about the timing of this? I'm trying to figure out if there's any specific timing clues going on.
Maybe.
When you consider the civil unrest, the potential full-on civil war.
Okay, I remember. Yeah, that reminded me. Okay, so part of the argument for these programs, the NSA spy programs and stuff, was taking down terrorists or domestic terrorists or foreign terrorists or whatever. And we've talked about before many times how a lot of what the FBI takes down, the FBI taking down, terrorist attacks or whatever, are instigated or propagated or influenced by the FBI themselves. They usually spin up some type of situation where somebody admits to some kind of terrorist activity only because they're being egged on by infiltrators and whatnot from the FBI themselves. And so, I don't know. It just seems like a lot of the arguments for or against are, like you mentioned, the gray areas. It's very much meant to continue the divide and conquer methodology here, because obviously if you're stepping away from the whole situation, it's like, this whole entire thing is bad. But when you get into when you get lost in political jargon, so to speak, you you start taking one side or one over another based on something a representative of a Republican Party says or whatever, like whatever the situation is. And in this situation here, the ACLU breaking this whole thing, or at least Edward Snowden retweeting the ACLU, given the history of the ACLU and what they've been involved in, kind of ridiculous, I think. I mean, sure, anybody that would look at this objectively would say, yeah, not cool that they spied on Americans. But I don't know. The ACLU trying to stand for that is kind of, I don't know. It doesn't seem very...
Well, again, it's the complexity of the situation. Privacy from government spying is something that, for the most part, any free-thinking person, whether they're on the left or the right or disconnected from the left-right paradigm altogether, can agree that government spying is not the coolest thing. Now, of course, there are people who love it. And what are you going to do? They're just freaky like that, They want somebody watching all the time. They would probably get the toilet censor. The interesting thing about this as well is there's talk of Trump pardoning Snowden, which would be a huge development, but I think the chances of that are pretty slim. I'm trying to remember. I believe that Trump spoke out against Snowden back when it happened, even before he was, in politics at all. I think there's quotes of him calling Snowden a traitor, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. Again, once you get political, you're gonna find yourself in a mixed bag of emotions that you can't quite sort out unless you just repeat what your favorite politician says.
Yep.
All right.
What's next?
Moving on here.
Oh, it's the New World Order. It's here.
By the way, I do want to mention, I'm actually kind of excited for this show, Gons, because we're kind of kicking it old school a little bit.
Yeah.
And by that, I mean the entire show is not about race wars or COVID.
Yeah.
So that's nice. I'm kind of excited to catch up on some of the stuff happening that was part of the original plan for the show. So what do you got?
Yeah. This was, this is kind of COVID related, but we talked about the lady who was arrested or taken into custody anyway in Australia last episode for making
the Aussies
a Facebook
having
post.
trouble down there.
Yeah, so this guy here posted a video of him also getting taken down or taken out, or at least arrested. And it's interesting because I won't play the audio here. I'll play the video. I tried to mute that, but it kept playing. Okay, so yeah, he's on his balcony, and all these officials are like at his door, telling him, "Hey, you violated the same violation as the lady." And, they're telling him like, oh, it's because of the Facebook post. And you can hear him say, I told people not to go. Like his whole thing, I guess I haven't double checked it, but he was saying, I was telling people not to go to any kind of rally. So now it's like,
who said this?
The gentleman who was being taken into custody or handcuffed or whatever. He just mentions under his breath, like, I said not to go to the rallies.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So, but then they force their way in, and it gets not violent per se, but it gets a little out of control at the end when he's walking down and he's cursing at them, and so again, I'm trying to read through some of the comments here in response to this video, and some people saying that like, oh, you signed a contract or you're part of the contract if you use something like Facebook and this and that, or social contract. I'm not exactly sure what they're talking about. Do you, Basil, when it comes to like social media and posting things in Australia anyway?
That is one area of knowledge that I do not have a lot of info on.
Okay. Either way, I think it's pretty out of control that they're still, trying to lock people down or whatever.
It's going to get worse before it gets better, man. It's crazy over there.
Yeah. So anyway,
poor Aussies.
Poor Aussies. Kind of a quick update on that stuff, because this hit my feed, and another guy allegedly getting in trouble for a Facebook post.
Yeah, classic.
Yeah.
All right, let's check in with CRISPR. Gone.
You can't take the quiz.
CRISPR.
You can't take the quiz.
Cas9.
Ask9. Okay, I'm over here at nature.com. The article is titled CRISPR Babies Are Still Too Risky, says influential panel. Editing genes in human embryos could one day prevent some serious genetic disorders from being passed down from parents to their children. But for now, the technique is too risky to be used in embryos destined for implantation, according to a high-profile international commission. And even when the technology is mature, its use should initially be permitted in only a narrow set of circumstances, the panel says. The recommendations released in a report on 3rd of September were produced by experts in 10 countries convened by the U.S. National Academy of Medicine, the U.S. National Academy of Sciences, and the UK Royal Society. The document joins a wealth of reports compiled in recent years that have argued against using gene editing in the clinic until researchers are able to address safety worries. And the public has had a chance to comment on ethical and societal concerns. Quote, "The technology is not presently ready for clinical application," says Richard Lifton, president of the Rockefeller University in New York City and co-chair of the commission. The report, which reviewed the scientific and technical state of heritable gene editing rather than ethical questions, advocates the formation of an international committee to evaluate developments in the technology and advise national advisory groups and regulators on its safety and utility. The commission was formed after Chinese biophysicist He Jiankui shocked the world in 2018 by announcing, wow, that was already 2 years ago.
Yep.
That's crazy. Almost 3 years ago.
Yeah.
By announcing that he had edited human embryos that were implanted in an effort to make the resulting children resistant to HIV infection. The work, which was widely condemned by scientists and yielded prison sentences for He and 2 of his colleagues, led to the birth of 2 children with edited genomes. We have not heard much about these children. They're getting old now, man. They're 2 or 3 years old. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Although genome editing technologies, and then it kind of just goes into the conversation of the risks of gene editing and passing that down through the generation and the unknown long-term effects, which we're all pretty familiar with those arguments there. Gons, I actually did have somebody send me something on Twitter. Whoa. About a recent development in CRISPR designer babies being worked on for sickle cell purposes. Sickle cell is a blood disease that mainly happens in African American folk. And, it kind of made me uncomfortable because it's like, no, CRISPR is dangerous. Nobody use CRISPR. We're internationally banning using CRISPR on embryos. And then this other group is like, well, we can test it on black people, right?
Well,
No.
You forget that we reported on that, 15, 20 episodes ago.
Well, did you say 20 years ago?
No, 20 episodes ago.
Oh,
and it was actually a lady that came out. Remember, she was saying that she had the some of the treatment done, and she was all happy about it, and saying like, "Oh, CRISPR saved my life," and all this kind of stuff.
Well, they must be going through it again because this was a new thing that I had seen where they're loosening regulations on that particular use of the technology. So there you go. Oh, let me see if I can pull it up here. I'm trying. I'm not don't know how to work this Twitter thing. It's at Technology Review, which is MIT Technology Review. And it says here, the staged rollout of gene-modified babies could start with sickle cell disease. So they are at least planning a staged rollout for how this is going to unfold. And of course, if you've listened to the show for any amount of time, you know our feelings about gene editing children, inheritable traits. It's not the greatest idea, we believe. And there was a period there where there was little to no scientific resistance regarding, actually going through with some of these experiments. Luckily, I'm happy to see that the world is sort of pushing back, but it also is very suspicious. It's always very suspicious when international groups start getting involved with things.
Yeah, so a couple things. First, in my wild, insane fantasy world, I'd like to think that these officials were listening to Canary Cry News Talk, and they heard us play jingles.
That's not that crazy.
Stop this progress before it is too late.
And they were like, you know what? They have a point. The second thing is, we've mentioned this before as well. It's a important point to consistently bring up with the topic of CRISPR. But the more they're like, hey, we're not ready, it's dangerous, the more that they're going to perfect the technology so that they can release it and so that they can make it public and all this kind of stuff. It's like a small bump in the road. It's like holding back a tidal wave, like,
right.
Hey, we stopped it for a bit, but now they're just gonna go back to the I don't know, the science room. That sounds ridiculous. The old science room, and perfect the technology so that they can get past the barriers and they can start, bringing it back like it was in the days of Noah.
Yeah. Thank you to Peace the DJ on Twitter for sending that to me. Cool. Okay. What's next?
This is an interesting story that I think we can harp on for a little bit.
Those are my favorite kind of stories.
We are in deep fake.
We are in deep fake. JapanToday.com. Pick this one on purpose because I always like an international perspective on certain things happening in the United States here. Microsoft unveils deep fake detector ahead of U.S. election.
Ooh.
Yeah. Good old
convenient
Microsoft.
Timing.
Convenient timing. And I'll share some theories about all this in a moment here. San Francisco, Microsoft has unveiled software that can help spot deep fake photos or videos, adding to the list of programs designed to fight the hard-to-detect images ahead of the U.S. presidential election. The video authenticator software analyzes an image for each frame of a video, looking for evidence of a manipulation that can even be invisible to the naked eye. Deepfakes are photos, videos, or audio clips altered using artificial intelligence to appear authentic and are already targeted by initiatives on Facebook and Twitter. Quote, they could appear to make people say things they didn't or be places or to be places they weren't, said a company blog post. Microsoft said it has partnered with the AI Foundation in San Francisco to make the video authentication tool available to political campaigns, news outlets, and others involved in the democratic process. Deepfakes are part of the world of online disinformation, which experts have warned can carry misleading or completely false messages. Fake posts that appear to be real are particular concern ahead of the U.S. presidential election in November, especially after false social media posts exploded in number during the 2016 vote that brought Donald Trump to power. Microsoft also announced it built technology into its Azure cloud computing platform that lets creators of photos and videos add data in the background that can be used to check whether images has been altered, like metadata. The technology titan said it plans to test the program with media organizations, including the BBC and the New York Times. Microsoft is also working with the University of Washington and others on helping people be more savvy when it comes to distinguishing misinformation from reliable facts. Quote, practical media knowledge can enable us all to think critically about the context of media and become more engaged citizens while still appreciating satire and parody, the Microsoft post said. So, yeah, I've been getting a lot of messages about the recent Biden speech. I was watching this thing, and the biggest feed for the Joe Biden speech from the 2020 DNC convention, which was people called a glorified Zoom call, was on NBC News, the NBC News channel. It has over 1 million views. It was published on August 20th. And, I think he might be in front of a green screen, but regardless, right from the get-go, there's something weird about Biden's just mouth. Like, I don't really know how to explain it. Like, you've seen, fake, deep fake videos. I've seen them, and they're getting pretty good. They're getting pretty good with it. A couple things that came to my attention in terms of the weirdness of this. First off, if they're going to do this, if they're going to broadcast this, why not do it in 4K? Why is it at 1080p? That, this is like a national.
Mean the DNC was in 1080p.
Yeah, 1080p, which is a much lower resolution than the available 4K, which I think is a better situation for
and if any event is worth paying an extra couple bucks for the bandwidth to broadcast in 4K, it would be the DNC.
Yeah, and then you just watch certain sections, and there's something about Biden's mouth, hairy legs Biden, that doesn't look right. And I was telling you, I was giving you some timestamps before the episode here, but I don't know, man. I get the feeling that based on the ability to deep fake and the ability to do augmented realities, it's very possible that they used some of this technology to patch up and clean up Biden's speech.
Yeah, it's just because it's part of our job. Both of us have, but I also, as being part of both of us, have spent a lot of time.
What does that mean? That's weird.
Spent a lot of time looking at deep fake and deep fake creation videos and comparison videos to try to be able to spot these deep fakes with the naked eye. And so we have some experience in trying to really dig into this sort of thing. Now, there's a lot of ways to hide the forensic markers of deep fakes. So, if it's going through enough channels and being broadcast through enough levels, between the original broadcast and the deep fake, it gets harder and harder to spot on occasion. But yeah, I thought you had really gone off the deep end with some tinfoil hat stuff here. But you do, when you watch that Biden speech, there are some pretty crazy things that his face does. And a lot of it is like, you can almost chalk up to just like weird politician, performance. But there's some spots like when he's talking and then suddenly goes into a smile or something like that. It just looks odd. There's definitely an uncanny valley. Now, that might be just because, maybe he's gotten some work done or, maybe he's just a robot. Who knows?
Maybe he's a robot. I didn't go down.
Maybe he's a lizard person and his human skin suit is, not fitting like it used to. But whatever the case may be, there was definitely some weird little phenomenons going on in the speech you're talking about.
Yeah, and the news about Microsoft releasing this technology, the detection technology. I don't know, man. There's something. My conspiratorial brain gets all tingly when I think about that, because why not give this technology to the outlets and the news agencies that would be the quote unquote authority on these things, and for them to be able to hide the fact that with certain speeches with Biden, they had to deep fake some of his stuff to make sure he doesn't.
I mean, it wouldn't
be
that surprising to, even if they came out and said it outright, it would not be very surprising. Oh my gosh! So, Gons, I've been checking the Twitch category list for like the entire show, waiting to see where we show up on the category list.
Mm-hmm.
And the entire show, I've been checking back and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and we just weren't showing up. We weren't showing up anywhere. I was like, oh, we have definitely been banned or shadow banned or something. It just turns out I was in the wrong category. But happy to say we are, again, for the third episode in a row, number 1 on the talk shows and podcast category.
Fun.
So there you go.
Yeah, I think it's based on the number of chatters on our Twitch channel, right? If I'm not mistaken.
It has something to do with that. I think the true algos are hidden, but whatever we're doing, it's working.
Yeah. So there's
regarding what you just said about releasing the detection technology. it seems like an attempt at transparency, but the problem is, you can build into these technologies, to be able to detect certain things, or if you make the detection software freely available, somebody can reverse engineer it and, make sure to avoid those markers when creating deep face detection stuff. So did you say that they released it specifically to like the Democratic Party, or who did you say? Mainstream news outlets?
Yeah, it was like New York Times and
Yeah.
what was the other outlet here? Let me pull it up real quick. BBC and New York Times. I mean, come on, those are like the two, if you want to call it fake news platforms, one of the bigger ones anyway. Why not just give it to people that your common citizen?
Give it to the world.
Give it to the world, not these
Why would
platforms.
you, again, centralize the ability to spot fakes? Why not give that to everybody? Why not make it a feature of the iPhone? So anybody watching, any video can detect if it's a deep fake or not. Why put a gatekeeper between this knowledge and the people? That it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. And so there's another headline here from yesterday, fortune.com. Why American Express is trying technology that makes deep fake videos look real. American Express.
Why is American Express? What is the answer?
All right, let me read it real quick. American Express is testing technology that is best known for helping create deep fake videos, realistic clips of people saying things they never really said to fight financial fraud. That's why they want to fight financial fraud.
Oh, like phishing scams or something?
I don't know. In this case, the company is creating fake financial data like credit card transactions that it can feed into machine learning algorithms to better help them spot credit card scams and other problems. The goal is to more quickly alert customers that their accounts have been compromised before criminals have a chance to go on spending sprees. At the heart of American Express's research is the AI technology known as Generative Adversarial Networks, or GANs, which are used to create deepfake videos. In recent years, the technology has improved to the point that it can help create convincing video clips that fool viewers. And there's a video here, and it has like Obama talking with like a deepfake, and it looks
a classic.
Yeah, like a classic one, but it's definitely it's not like super obvious, but there's something about it that's a little off, you can just tell looking at it.
That's exactly the thing. I mean, when you spend enough time, when you really try to train your eye to spot these deep fakes, which you can do, it's kind of hard to put into words. It's like but you can just tell that, like I said, it's the uncanny valley. Like it doesn't quite work in like your brain can spot it without even being able to articulate it with language. And that's what you get when you watch the Obama video you're talking about.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But that's what I got when watching the Biden speech. Is like, I see it and it looks real. There's just something in my brain that is like not quite lining up or lining this up with reality. It's very strange.
It is. It's the same feeling, and that's the only reason why I brought it up, because I had the same reaction as you when I saw people messaging me. Bart Sebrell, among others, messaging me saying like, hey, you got to check this out. Deep fake. Biden's a deep fake. He probably had a stroke and all this kind of stuff. And I was kind of like, yeah, whatever. But then, you look at the speech and you definitely see a weird few moments where you have that same like, oh, that definitely looks like a deep fake.
Yeah.
So,
I still am very skeptical about this whole thing about, releasing the deep fake detection to news channels and not making it available to the common person.
Yeah.
The whole point is to help people decide what they're watching is real or not. I just don't see what the downside could be to releasing it to the public, except for, wanting to keep the gatekeepers of information, which, whether you're on the left or the right, there's a lot of skepticism of the news media in general on both sides. So it seems like the the best thing they could do for humanity is just release it. But of course, they're not going to do that because they're not worried about humanity in any sort of truthful sense.
Well, yeah, they're reptiles, Basil.
Oh my gosh!
Did you hear about this? They're serpents in human skin.
You hear about this?
You hear about this?
You hear about this?
All right. So, I mean, not much more to talk about that other than go watch the Joe Biden speech. Do it without sound. I mean, you can sort of do it with the sound as well, but I did it without sound just to kind of get a feel, and I definitely had some questions.
Yeah.
Again, why not in 4K? Why 1080p? Which kind of makes sense if you're making a deep fake.
Right.
A lot more processing power required to do it in 4K than 1080p.
True that.
And then just certain moments that just make you question. And, you know, it's one of those things where it doesn't have to be like a crazy full-on deep fake. They could have totally used Biden. You know, Biden could have actually done his speech, but, you know, in the back room, they were probably like, let's just touch him up a little bit. Kind of like, you know, Photoshop's touch up photos. They might have done something like that to, you know, fix certain lines or sentences. And you were mentioning how, what about the flub or any kind of moment he misspeaks or anything like that? I don't know. I don't remember if there was any moments in the actual DNC speech where he really flubs it really bad. But I was making mention how, you know, as a media person, you know, you get I've had a lot of experience editing video, editing photos and things like that. There's only so much you can do in an allotted time, especially with something like this, where it's like, it could be raw footage of somebody. There's only so much you can do to fix things. So, you know, it's a good point of skepticism to suggest like, oh, why didn't they just make it like perfect for him? Like, why didn't they make him perfect?
Right.
But we'll see. I mean, I think the debates, if there is a debate, will be the most telling moment. If there's any, you know, credence to this type of theory, if they roll out, you know, Trump on one side of the stage and one of those like robots with a screen on the other side,
that would be perfect.
with Biden from the basement, quote unquote.
Oh my gosh, that one of those little rolly robots with an iPad for a face.
Yeah, and then there's
that's
Biden
Biden's standing at a podium.
Hilarious. Yeah.
Do you remember in the debates with Hillary how, you know, he was kind of lurking around in the background and everybody was all freaked out about it?
Yeah.
I can just imagine Trump lurking around back behind an iPad with Joe Biden's face at the podium.
or the opposite, you know. Trump's talking and then the iPad
behind him.
Joe Biden iPad face kind of creeping up behind him.
Creeping up, sniffing his hair.
All right, okay. I think that's enough. Enough Joe Biden.
All right. There's a lot of people, mainly in chat right now. They really want us to talk about David Blaine.
Oh, the Ascension
what
thing.
They're talking about.
Oh, yes. I do. It's the Ascension.
I'm watching him float above a desert with a bunch of balloons, like Up, the Disney movie Up.
Yeah,
and the headline is, "Watch David Blaine uses balloons to fly nearly 25,000 feet over Arizona." What input could I possibly have to this? It's just a man holding on to balloons.
He called it Ascension. It's one of his latest. I think it's been like 10 years since his last stunt thing. Okay. And I did watch a short thing of him, how much he had to train and stuff for this, which is pretty crazy. I think he had to make like 500 jumps out of airplanes to get certain licenses, and you know, there's dangers because if the balloon, I don't know. I don't know if did he actually do it? Is it over?
Yeah, I'm looking at him. He's floating with a bunch of balloons in the sky.
Okay. There you go. Good job, David.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'll look into it. I don't know exactly what there is to find, but maybe just the sort of occult nature of ascension.
Ascension, yeah. Well, I mean, there's a biblical one too, but I think,
I
think in this case, it's more of a.
He's not even holding on to the balloons. He's all strapped in. What is the magic here, David Blaine?
I mean, he did fly 25,000 feet with balloons. It's kind of normal.
I guess it can be hard to breathe up there.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's take a quick break and get back into it, Gons.
Let's do it.
It's break time. Come on, take a break.
Okay, fair. Because after the break is our main headline story, AI Jesus. You're going to want to hear that. We're also going to be talking a little bit about some new DARPA projects, or some weird DARPA projects at least, and then a little check in on the aliens, see how we're doing. Like I said, old school Canary Cry news talk today. So stick around, because after the break, lots of important stuff you're gonna want to get. But before that, Gons, I think we should. Well, first I'll give a little update.
Okay.
I will say I was expecting now it might be because of the low numbers today, but I was expecting when I announce my Twitter request on the show to get a little bit more of a response than I have. I've gotten 3 followers since the beginning of the show. Come on, folks, help me out here, please. If you
Not
have
everyone
Twitter,
has Twitter, though.
That's a good point. I did not have one for a very long time. But if you are on Twitter, follow me at Basil_Rosewater. Follow me there. I need your help to become a mech pilot. But I also want to thank some of our Twitch followers. Are you ready, Gons?
Ready.
Okay, reloading the page, see if there's any new ones. And here we go. I like to thank the Twitch followers who follow us at twitch.tv/Canary Cry Radio. As we're seeing today, YouTube is not letting everybody know that we're doing a show. So it's very important to follow us on multiple outlets, and twitch.tv/Canary Cry Radio is a great one. Turn on notifications so you know when a show goes live. But today and of course my entire VR headset goes completely wonky right before I need to read something. So I'm just going to take a quick second and get this all back here. There we go. There we go. Okay, here we go. I'm back in the Matrix. Thank you, Cool Lulu 777.
Cool.
Wit rules. Stupid face with a 5 for an S and a PH for the face.
Creative.
Boogerman Prime. Shendrix05. Sarah Sadler. Rhyme Skill.
All right.
Or Rhymes Kill. Ooh, who knows? Walk. What the heck? Okay, I think this is like a randomly generated name, if you can't think of one. Walk Cabbage. Jennifer A. Downer. Yoki Makes. 3 plate. Exena. And that is it. Those are all of our new Twitch followers. Thank you guys so much for the follow over on Twitch. Helps us out quite a bit. And we finally hit 2,000 followers. So that's a pleasant fact.
Awesome. Love it.
Yes. What comes next? Why is my brain so slow today?
I don't know.
Next up, we want to thank some producers. What does that mean? We are on the value for value model, which means we have eschewed the trap of advertising, where, if you take advertising dollars, you are now subject to become brand friendly, which means you got to watch what you say, watch what you report on. You got to toe the party line, or else you lose those advertising dollars. This has been an integrity problem for online media creation for quite a while now. It's part of the reason why, things are so crazy, in our opinion, and it incentivizes things, but numbers, cattle, crops, commodities to be increased at all costs and then turned. I like to think of our listeners as human beings. And so because that is the case, we run on the value for value model, which means if you get any value out of what we do, we continue to do it 3 times a week. And, we do pretty good. We're at the top of the list on Twitch. I'm pretty happy about that. So if you get any value out of what we do, you have the opportunity to put some value back in. Now, here's the thing. I realize it's a pain in the butt. I realize we're not used to paying anybody on YouTube or the internet who makes any sort of content. I get it. It kind of feels like we shouldn't pay for that stuff. But that's exactly basically ever, because against the current state of the world, the theology of the world, where you get enough eyeballs and then you can pay your bills. Well, we get eyeballs. We got a good amount of eyeballs, but we don't rely on big corporations to pay our bills. Instead, people who value the show come in and support the show, either monthly baby. You pay to make a piece of media, then you get to call yourself a producer. And we're very grateful for our producers. You can put it on your LinkedIn, put it on your resume. We will back you up if anybody calls and asks or emails us and asks. We will confirm that for you. So there you go. And there's a few ways to support the show, become a producer. One of them is patreon.com/CCNT for Canary Cry News Talk. And we got a new producer, and their name is Josh. Thank you very much, Josh.
Hey, Josh.
Appreciate it. Our one and only Patreon /CCNT producer. We also have patreon.com/Canary Cry Radio, which is a great alternative. And we had Antonio and Manenga. Am I saying that right? Manenga.
I think so. Yeah. Manenga.
Yeah. Thank you very much. All three of those new producers. You guys are the best, and the chatters, they thank you for it. Now, if you don't like Patreon, that's okay. We understand. A lot of reasons not to like Patreon. We also have canarycryradio.com/support.
canarycryradio.com/support.
That's right. canarycryradio.com/support is another place, a better place to support us. We got PayPal options. I'm support amount in any amount that you wish. And Gons, who do we have coming in on PayPal?
Some of these came in last episode because we were very sad that there were no supporter or no producers in our last episode.
It was sad.
It was, but we did get them in, so we wanted to thank them here properly. May, thank you, May. Producer May came in with $3.33. So
thank you, May.
There's the
33 club. Okay, cool.
Also, Nicole coming in as a producer.
Nicole!
Well
Thank
timed,
you very
well
much,
timed.
Steven.
And we also have Jason came in very generous.
Wow, Jason,
Producership.
thank you very much. PayPal popping off this week.
Yeah, and Nina. Thank you,
Nina. Thank you very much, Nina.
And a special thank you to all the people who have recurring support. We will not mention your names here, but you know who you are. Again, thank you for your producership. And no knighthood today. We do have a couple jingles to play.
Great. Yeah,
And,
so this is another way to become a producer of the show. If financially is not in the cards for you, we also, give producerships for creating jingles. I mean, that's real world stuff. If you create a piece of media that gets played on a show, you're a producer. So we got some jingles and art sent in, I think. What do we got, Gons?
First we have hold on. Come on, computer. We have Jezreel, who created a Baz Boys What You Gonza Do.
Baz Boys What You Gonza Do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want to do anything to scare your children. That's the last thing we want to do. We don't want to scare anybody.
Oh, that's loud.
Gons. Very good.
That's
Yes.
fun. I like it. We might need to cut off the sirens, but we can keep it short. I like it.
I love it. Thank you
Very
so
good.
much for that.
Has Jezreel sent that?
Jezreel, I think. Yeah.
Cool.
We also got a song from Kellen. We got a whole song. Finally,
Whoa.
somebody put
We
together
did
a
it.
song.
Thank you, Kellen.
Yeah.
We'll play that. We'll play the full thing at the end of the show for the Canary Cry mixtape. If this is your first time watching the show, watch it all the way through, because at the end we've got some cool Canary Cry themed songs, and they are serious bops, man.
Yeah.
We got some talented musician producers.
Yeah, so look forward to that at the end of the show. Should we play a few seconds of it?
Yeah, do a few seconds. Just pop it in there somewhere.
Okay, so here's a few seconds.
Okay, some dream pop.
Yeah, there's words to this.
There's words to this.
Promise.
There's nothing to watch on my color TV. None of this news is what I want to see. I try tuning in to my radio. None of this talk is really quite the show for me.
Yeah, and you guys can hear the rest of it at the end. There's a good hook.
Good song.
Good lyrics.
We're also
googly eyes reference.
Oh yeah, all sorts of references. Kellen, I'm assuming it's a man. I don't know, maybe a woman. Whoever you are, Kellen, really good. I loved listening through exactly what we're looking for. Just Canary Cry themed all the way through.
Yep.
Lots of references for longtime listeners. You're gonna love it. Also, at the end of the show, we're gonna be playing a song that we did, Gons.
Yeah,
I forgot about this thing.
A while ago, we had Dr. Future as our guest on Canary Cry Radio, and for the honors, we actually covered the song that they used to play as their intro. It's called "The Shape of Things to Come." And should we play a few? I mean, and you and I sing on this. I mean, I'm on guitar.
This is a whole thing.
Yeah, we did a whole thing here. I'll play a few seconds of it here. Let's hit it. Very loud.
There's a new sun rising up angry in the sky. There's a new voice saying we're not afraid to die.
You guys can hear the rest of it at the end of the show. But yeah, that's Basil on the Vokes.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I forgot about that. And then I go into like a what is it? Like a who did Love Shack. Who did Love Shack?
I can't remember the name.
B-52s?
B-52s, yeah.
I go into like a B-52s voice at the end of the song. It's awesome.
I know.
All right,
Yeah.
we'll play that all at the end of the show for the Canary Cry mixtape at the end. Thank you very much. All of our producers.
B-53s? Or B-52s? I don't know.
It's the B-52s,
Yeah, I
like
thought
the
so
airplane.
too.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, what else we got?
We also have some art.
One art, please.
And per usual, we have Allie. Allie drew something that will make your dreams come true, Basil. She's helping you visualize your future.
Oh, I appreciate that.
And this is it's called Basil's birthday present.
Ooh.
And it is it's literally your I keep forgetting the name of the machine, the giant mech that you want to ride.
Prosthesis.
The prosthesis, yes. She drew it with I think that's Monty in there, but maybe that's you too. And
Let me see.
I'm trying to get it to fit in the thing. Come on. Streamlabs OBS is so horrible at.
Allie, Gazlin, Bonds in the chat. Thank you very much. I don't think I've seen Allie in the chat today, so she might not be on live. But very prolific artist, Canary Cry artist. Oh, there it is. It popped up. Oh my gosh. Wow, that's really good. Yeah, that is a complex robot. Like we mentioned, prosthesis is kind of a four-legged robot, a mix between an elephant, a gorilla, and a spider. With presenting the pilot who sort of hovers in the middle of the whole thing, controlling it. And she did a great rendering of the prosthesis robot with a cat in the pilot seat, loving it, and a little kitty down on the ground to the right who's asking when my birthday is. So I like that.
On a phone, like one of those.
On a phone, using a landline. So Allie, I believe, is in her teen years, her early teen years. So that's impressive that she even has the reference for the landline phone.
Yeah.
It's such a relic.
She's retro.
So very good, Allie. Always
Nice
very
job,
good.
Allie.
And yes, that is a dream come true. Oh my gosh, I'm looking at this, getting excited even as we look at it.
I'll print it out for you so you can put it on your wall.
My birthday is, sorry, what?
I said I'll print it out for you so you can put it on your wall, or in your mirror in your bathroom.
Thank you. Yes, I need to visualize. Birthday is October 25th.
Oh, so it's coming up.
Coming up, yeah, in about a month. So there you go. All I need is $13,000 for my birthday, so I can get my mech pilot training from Prosthesis Racing Mechs.
All right. My son, who's going to be born next month, is due around the end of October. Yeah, the end of October. So I would be troubled if he's born on your birthday.
Oh my gosh. What do you know when in October? What's the due date?
Due date is the 30th, but you know how that goes.
Oh, could come a little early. Oh my gosh, that'll be great.
Yeah.
All right, Gons. Well, shall we move forward? Is there anything
we have
left
one
for
more?
us?
Yes, we have one more piece of art.
Okay.
Jay Vela got one in right before moving on here, and this is the. Hold on, let me pull up the email to reference the name of this piece of art. The writings on the wall: illegal church gathering.
Oh yes.
Report all non-vaxxers, and why does the heathen range? And you have a person spray painting the Canary Cry logo on a brick wall. A couple angels sitting up there, and then there's riots, cars burning on the top left. The hooded. Ominous hooded individuals arresting people at church.
You know what? I'll give this to Jay Vela. I mean, there's a lot of things to give Jay Vela. I love the art that comes in. Always very good. Always very Denver Airport-esque. Very consistent on the characters that appear. The evil robed gas mask figures. Very consistent in their rendering. Very impressive.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Yeah. So thank you, Jay Vela. Thank you for all the artists out there and musicians who contribute to the show. You guys are producers of the show. You contribute great amount of value for us, and we appreciate that. So thank you to all of you out there. And anything else, Basil, before we wake up?
I think I'm ready to wake up, Gons.
Come on, Jingle Maker.
Yes, it's wake up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
Okie dokie. So now to our headline here, express.co.uk. And the headline is, AI Jesus, Bible-inspired machine makes eerie doomsday prophecies of the end of days.
Artificial intelligence.
It's gotta be biblical.
That's right. Wow, what a great couple of things there. Here we go. The artificial Messiah has penned about 60,000 words of prophecy that are eerily reminiscent of the real deal. I like how they call it the real deal.
Yeah, the real deal.
That's nice. AI Jesus is the creation of engineer George Davila Durendal, who has dubbed the algorithm a, quote, clone of Jesus. Oh, perfect. The artificial intelligence was instructed to read the King James Version of the Bible, learning in the process how to construct convincing scripture-like prophecies. Dr. Durendal likened it to, quote, locking a baby in a room with nothing but a Bible for 15 years. Oh, wow. He said,
kind
quote,
of traumatic.
Yeah, you then open up the room 15 years later and find that it's learned to read, speak, and write using nothing but the Bible. The engineer then told his AI to pen prophecies on the topics of the plague, Caesar, and the end of days. And since he revealed his creation to the world, AI Jesus has penned more prophecies about blood, Greeks, and wisdom. Oh, that sounds about right. The engineer said, quote, in these days of trials and tribulations, many have turned to religion. But what religion is left for those who have averted their gaze from the fables of old to the shiny metal toys of today? I present you AI Jesus, an artificial intelligence of my invention, created from the King James Bible and nothing else. AI Jesus learned from the Bible using a so-called Boltzmannian natural language processing model, and the results speak for themselves with passages that could be mistaken at first glance as real New Testament prophecy. One text reads, quote, "The plague shall be the fathers in the world, and the same is my people, that he may be more abundant in the mouth of the Lord of hosts." Okay. "For the tabernacle of the Lord shall be known by the works of the Lord, which proclaim against this city, according as he hath sent me to the marriage of the Spirit." In another prophecy, AI Jesus wrote, "The Lord shall be the things that are in the midst of the sea. So shall ye say unto thee, wherefore do I not forgive the law of the Lord, that they might be fulfilled, which was before the Lord." I'm having a hard time following these.
We're not smart enough for AI Jesus.
I'm not quite following, but it does sound adjacent to correct. Okay, moving on. Quote, "And they shall be they shall be establish you all the way of the Lord thy God, which hath promised the Lord Jesus, and he will be with him. And the Lord said unto Moses, What is this that thou hast seen it, that thou mayest know that I am the Lord?" Okay, that one's vague enough. So there you go, Gons. AI Jesus is here. Image. What do you think? Is this the image?
Oh, it could be.
Beast?
It could be a precursor, but the article goes on, and although some of the verses do not flow as naturally as real scripture, they demonstrate the power of language learning AI. Mr. Durandal, I thought it was Dr. Durandal, said, quote, "This orderliness, randomness trade-off is one characteristic of AI language models. You can have a more interesting model that takes artistic liberties and produces some glitches, or you can have more mundane, more technically proficient writing, but not both. But AI Jesus is not the first time engineers have attempted to create convincing works of art through mechanical learning. IBM Watson, Beat, Eric Borgos, Lyric Generator. We've kind of covered some of these other ones that they mentioned.
Yeah,
here.
they just sort of mention other AI things, but that's not as interesting as this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. This article did go on, but there were so many advertisements between
I know. Yeah,
where
it's hard
I
to see.
ended and where it picked up again. I thought, surely this is not the same article.
But one of the things that's interesting is that in a biblical definition of an antichrist, not the man of sin per se, but just like the antichrist spirit, this has to be right up there, because the premise of the guy who created it is saying like, oh, we've gotten rid of all the fables, and one of the ways to test the spirits in the Bible in 1 John, it says, test the spirits. If they admit that Jesus came in the flesh, then they are from God. If they didn't, then they're the spirit of Antichrist. So based on the biblical definition of the spirit of Antichrist, this falls into that category. I don't know if he knew that or not, but so there's that. But then just in a straight definition of an Antichrist or an instead of Christ or instead of Jesus, this also falls into that category. If you're creating an artificial intelligence, it's a counterfeit Jesus. And, I think this is just the beginning of stuff like this. I think they're going to keep doing religious type of things or things that mix religion with technology to not just appeal.
And that's been the milieu.
Yeah, of course.
Sorry to interrupt. Finish your thought there.
I was just going to say, until because we've already seen people worshiping AI, in Silicon Valley and stuff. So
yeah, the Church of AI.
Yeah,
they talking about how if God is real, he'll be an AI that we create.
Right. So
and you have the robotic monks in the robotic Buddhist monks in Japan.
Yeah. So it's already moving in that direction. But when it comes specifically to the Bible and using nothing but the Bible to come up with these things, I mean, if you're going to use AI power to do anything with the Bible, there's probably better ways or more useful ways to do that for like Bible studies, not, create his own Jesus. But, these guys don't have any limits here. But, I would say this is just the beginning of stuff like this. And we're probably going to see a lot more that at a certain point could garner its own movement of sorts, own churches where like, I don't really believe in the Bible, but the AI Bible or AI Jesus, really gives me some practical advice on things. And so I go to the temple of the AI Jesus Bible. And
I can also see a world in which, the AI Jesus prophecies are sort of just floated out there.
Oh yeah.
And people sort of take it as, a real Jesus thing, and now that you've got like a replacement gospel or something that people may not even know is a replacement.
Well, I personally, I don't necessarily buy all the claims of the Mandela effect, saying like certain things have changed in the Bible and stuff.
Yeah.
But as time goes on and as information as we drown in a sea of information with the internet and machines and AI and all this kind of stuff, I can see easily, especially as more translations of the Bible come out, that kind of thing could take place, where, because in the near future, I'm making a prediction here, not a prophecy, just a prediction, a carnal prediction here, human, not anything inspired. I think they're going to make an AI translation version of the Bible coming maybe in our lifetime, where they take all the Greek and Hebrew and Aramaic, documents that we have available, and the AI will determine the best English rendering or whatever language rendering of it. And I think we'll see that in our lifetime at some point.
I'm surprised we haven't seen that already.
Yeah. I mean,
that is bizarre.
Yeah, maybe somebody's already working on it. But when that happens, then you have this situation where, like, hey, this translation or the AI translated like this, and you can't argue with the AI translation. It's much more accurate.
As the trust and accuracy of AI increases,
right?
And even just the social pressure to accept, AI as an authority in some ways. I mean, in some ways, AI is already considered the authority in many different aspects of knowledge and information. And wow. So AI translation.
I think Saul to Paul in the chat there mentioned, anyone know which scriptures those are? Something about giving voice to the image. That's Revelation 13. I'll pull it up here real quick. We've talked about it many, many times on this channel.
We'll talk about giving voice to the image.
I know.
This is a perfect fit.
I know. It's crazy.
Bust that out.
Okay, so it says the second beast was permitted to give breath to the image of the first beast so that the image could speak and cause all those who refused to worship it to be killed. So yes, it's a passage.
Slap a voice mod on this sucker, and there you go.
Well, not just that, but giving, and again, points that I've mentioned many times, but giving breath to an inanimate object. God giving breath to dust created man, and now the second beast gives breath to the image so that it speaks. I don't know what's. If you're talking about John on the island of Patmos, seeing robots or like AI robots,
well, maybe
that's like the exact way. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly how you would describe it. Like, it gives, an image breath and the image speaks. Sounds like robots to me.
Too, because image, you think of like a physical object in the world, like let's just say this isn't our currently held belief, but just for the sake of conversation, if you're going to call the image like a robot or an android or like Sophia or something, that's sort of an esoteric translation for image. But something even closer for image as we understand it would be like something on a computer screen, like an actual image, not
yeah.
the real, not
Yeah.
the real thing, an actual image on a screen. And that's exactly what this Jesus AI is, well, or could be easier than, becoming an android, is like Replica. Remember we reported on Replica, where it's a highly photorealistic chatbot friend that you
Right.
can, sign up, and it learns your behaviors and preferences, and you can just sit there and talk to this human-like image on the screen. And all you got to do is hook up AI Jesus to a sort of replica avatar on your computer screen, and booyah, baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And you think about the worldview of the ancient Hebrews when they, or some of the pagan, those who fell by the pagan worship of idols and images. They truly believed that in those images and idols, that, by worshiping these entities, that they will inhabit those idols or those images.
Yeah. Right.
And so, you're really starting to cross the line between, or blur the line between, like, just an artificial intelligent machine and giving demons a way to communicate openly in our world,
Right.
So,
right.
That it gets pretty in the weeds there, but I think when we look at all the things, at least for me, when I look at all the stuff that we've been studying, this type of story is, just makes a lot of sense in where we are today, and not surprised whatsoever. But I think it's it's a little more concerning that they're, it's spitting out prophecies, and that's when you start really talking about an image that speaks, and you can get killed if you don't obey it or worship it.
Right.
That,
especially when it's telling you to get the vaccine.
There you go.
Jesus.
There you go.
Yeah.
AI Jesus said get the vaccine. So, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I gotta say, I mean, we've explored many theories on what that looks like, what the image of the beast could be, and if we're looking for sort of a literal, I don't even know,
prototype.
Literal prototype. That's about as close as we've come so far.
Yeah.
Which reminds me, I just want to give a shout out to Chris White, who followed me on Twitter.
Hey.
Yeah. So there we go. I've did it. I made it.
You made it. You're done.
Yeah.
You don't need any more.
I was excited when I saw that. So he listens to the show. So what's up, Chris White? Thanks for the follow, buddy. Okay. There we go.
All
Anything
right.
else on this? What do you think?
I think that's it. I think we can go through some of these weird DARPA projects.
Illuminatus!
This is airforcetimes.com. 8 weird DARPA projects that make science fiction seem like real life. What have I been saying, Basil? Science fiction is a documentary.
It really is at this point.
Yeah. The agency responsible for the internet, GPS, and stealth aircraft has produced a whole lot of weird in the 62 years since its foundation. For every one of the Defense Advanced Research Project's agency's wild successes, there seems to be a plethora of wild failures, projects like mechanical elephants or telepathy research. I don't know much about the mechanical elephants. I'd like to know more.
Yeah, neither do I.
And the telepathy research only failed according to the public documentation, or documentation made public. What makes DARPA so unique is its ability to go outside the red tape of bureaucracy to innovate. DARPA isn't subject to the same acquisition rules as other agencies, which means it has fewer restrictions on the scientists and innovators it can hire and the salaries it can offer. Black budget. The agency also has fewer financial limitations, enabling it to invest in long-shot projects with the hopes they'll pay off. They're basically the military's innovative venture capitalists, the military-industrial complex. Here are some of the more interesting projects to come out of DARPA's high-risk, high-reward environment. Now, Basil, I don't want to read through the entire article, so
Okay.
I'll list the name of the thing that they're building, and let me know if you want me to read more from it, okay?
Okay.
So number 1, plant-eating robots. Yay or nay?
We've covered that. Yeah, we're
Okay, we
aware of
already
that.
covered it. Houses that repair themselves.
That's pretty interesting. I feel like I've got the full picture of that. Is there anything off the top of your head that just stands out to you?
It just mentions here that the goal of DARPA's Engineering Living Materials program is to create building materials that can be grown where needed and repair themselves when damaged.
Oh, interesting.
As researchers make progress with 3D printing organs and tissues, DARPA hopes to use similar technologies to create hybrid materials that can shape and support the growth of engineered cells.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
yeah, we're going to be living inside biological whale houses.
Great.
Okay, this one's weird. Lab-grown blood.
Oh, wow. That
pretty
doesn't
self-explanatory.
really surprise me so much. Yeah, okay.
Cyborg insects. We all know.
We're well aware of those cyborg insects.
Covered that. Brain implants for PTSD. We already
like a Neuralink type thing.
Neuralink, okay. Robotic infantry mules.
Oh, like the Boston Dynamics robots that carry stuff for soldiers in rough terrain.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
But you don't have to feed it water and stuff.
Yeah.
Nuke-propelled spaceship.
Okay, this one I have not heard about. I'm pretty proud of both of us for pretty much knowing and having reported on all of these before. But what's that? Tell me about the nuke-propelled spaceship.
DARPA also invests in researching space travel, if there is such a thing. Project Orion is a program from 1958 intended to research a new means of spaceship propulsion. This hypothetical model of propulsion relied on nuclear bomb detonations to power a craft forward and was supposedly capable of hitting astonishing speeds. However, DARPA officials were worried about a nuclear fallout. And when the Partial Tests Ban Treaty of 1963 outlawed detonations of nuclear weapons in outer space, the project was dropped. And this is, actually, I knew about this because a lot of flat earthers have actually talked about this. They set off all these nukes in quote-unquote space, and many people have theorized that what they were trying to do was actually destroy the firmament and get through it. So, nukes in space.
Yeah, makes sense to me.
Yeah. Okay, last one. Mechanical elephants. Of course, you want to know about that, right?
Yeah, tell me about the mechanical elephants. Why is this on the list?
I don't know. In the 1960s, DARPA began researching vehicles that would enable troops and equipment to move more freely in the dense terrain of Vietnam. Following the footsteps of Hannibal before them, DARPA researchers decided that elephants could be the right tool for the job. They began one of the most infamous projects in DARPA history, the quest for a mechanical elephant. The end result would be capable of transporting heavy loads with servo-actuated legs. When the director
of the most boring DARPA project I've ever heard of.
1960s, man. This was wild in the 60s.
Wow.
Yeah, you know what we can do, man? Some mechanical elephants. When the director of DARPA heard of the project, he immediately shut it down. hoping that Congress wouldn't hear of it and cut the agency's funding, according to New Scientist.
What an embarrassment. That's funny. I like how they called it like one of the most well-known DARPA projects, and I had never heard of it before.
I think now that I've read it, I've probably come across it at some point. It does ring a bell, but yeah, not on the front of my mind.
That's not even much different from the mules.
No.
Basically, the mules were just small DARPA
versions.
elephants.
I was hoping the DARPA elephants would do more, like those big, what are they called in Star Wars? Those huge robots in Empire Strikes Back in the snow.
Oh, they're not robots. AT-ATs.
Oh yeah, AT-ATs. There you go.
AT-ATs and AT-STs, baby.
Right. Oh, they're manned machines, I guess.
Also known as Imperial Walkers.
Right. Yeah.
I'm a cool Star Wars guy.
Okay. All right. Well, we have one more story, and
was that all of them?
That's all of them. That's all 8. Yep.
Wow, I have a much more extensive knowledge of DARPA projects than originally thought.
Yeah.
Gosh dang it, this is happening again.
Yeah.
All right, you gotta start it off. I gotta get my world back together here.
You don't know what you're looking at.
What's driving that thing? It's not a space alien.
Aliens. It's unidentified.
All right, this Brexit thing keeps popping up. Breaking news. But okay.
What is it? Are they doing it? Did they do it?
I don't know.
Have they Brexited?
I don't know.
One thing that's probably accounting for our low numbers today, and I think this has happened a couple times now. President Trump is doing a live, or was doing a live just a little while ago.
What? People want to hear Trump over our reporting
it
of the
doesn't make
news?
any sense. I don't get it either.
Don't blame him. Okay, so this is UFO sighting claims worried aliens buzz U.S. military base conflict with China soon. And, you know, these stories are always out there, but we don't often report it. But I thought we would report on this to wrap up the show today because it's a little throwback. And also there's kind of a funny thing there at the end, which, I'll mention it. Do you want to read it, or is your world back together?
I'm back.
Back. Go for it.
Okay. UFO sighting claims worried aliens buzz U.S. military base conflict with China soon. And there's a nice little video there we get to watch. A UFO has been spotted spying close to Newport, Virginia, according to claims made by an alien conspiracy theorist. Is this a conspiracy theorist who is an alien? Okay. The amateur smartphone is like, yeah, I'm from Neptune, but I don't know what this is. This is... Anyways, the amateur smartphone footage appears to show an odd anomaly hovering low in the sky. Due to the grainy nature of the video, it is difficult to definitely confirm what the object is. Alien life conspiracy theorist Scott Waring took to his UFO sightings daily blog to speculate widely about his latest dubious discovery. Why is it dubious? Waring said, quote, "This UFO was recorded flying over Newport, Virginia last week. There's a military base there, and the eyewitness often sees Millard craft, but this surprised him." The UFO hunter proceeds to offer his reasons for suggesting why he believes this is evidence of extraterrestrial visitors and its worrying implications. He said, quote, "This object in the video tilts for a few seconds, and at that moment it looks like a thick disc. But then it tilts and we see it from its side looking thin. Very odd craft," old U.S. Air Force Unidentified Flying Object Study Project Blue Book reports have reported dozens of alien craft near U.S. military bases. It looks like aliens are worried and want to show the military they can do as they want, when they want, and even shut down nuclear missiles. Wow, really reading into this. For aliens... For aliens to do this, they probably predicted that in the near future an armed conflict with China is about to occur. This is 100% alien and proof aliens to watch over humanity's safety. Waring also supplies what he claims is an eyewitness account of the purported sighting. They say, quote, "I stepped outside to smoke a cigarette. The moon was out and it was daylight outside. I looked down and then back up at the moon and saw this. I've lived near military bases for over a decade. I frequently see F-22s and all matter of commercial and military aircraft. However, the object is likely in reality simply a small cloud." What? Experts describe this an example of pareidolia, the phenomenon of recognizing objects or patterns in unrelated objects. Pareidolia is a form of apophenia, a general term for the human tendency to seek patterns in random information. U.S. Space Agency NASA, so you know you got to listen up. Pareidolia is the psychological phenomenon where people see recognizable shapes in clouds and rocks. I don't agree with anybody in this article.
I know, that's why I picked it. Isn't it great? So first off, yeah, this dude's reading a lot into this this footage here, which for listeners, you know, if you're not looking at the screen, more or less looks like some balloons. To be honest, it looks like a little clump of balloons, in my opinion.
Maybe it was David Blaine floating by.
Maybe it was David Blaine. Ascension.
That's the most reasonable explanation so far. It wasn't a UFO. It was just a weird goth man floating with some balloons.
Weird goth man? Is that how you see David Blaine?
Yeah, he's kind of gothy. I mean, he's grown up now, so he wears less eyeshadow.
Yeah, I remember the eyeshadow days. Yeah. No, Basil, it's
aliens.
It's aliens. And the other thing that I think is hilarious is the sentence, "However, The object is likely, in reality, simply a small cloud.
A small cloud.
When have you ever seen a small cloud that looks like
Just
that?
a small cloud, Gons. It's not a big cloud. It's a small cloud. All right.
Well, the other. All right, weird. The thing also to note. Okay, if we're gonna put on our tinfoil hats here, and our tinfoil hats in one hand, or on our heads, and our Bibles in the other hand, there, Baal was known to be the cloud rider, and actually Yahweh was trying to claim back that he's the only one in the clouds, but yeah, there's that reference. So seeing that it could be a cloud doesn't necessarily negate the idea that this is some kind of intelligence floating around up there. That being said, given this footage here, I'm calling balloons. I think it's balloons. But if you ever want to make it's just David Blaine's project. But if you ever want to get in the news, especially express.co.uk, just film anything and just say some crazy stuff about it.
Yeah, we need to start making some claims, man.
I know we need to be featured on express.co.uk.
It's because we're too reasonable. They don't put reasonable people on their platform.
I want somebody to clip Basil's googly eyes sitting there saying, "'Cause we're too reasonable," looking at your googly eyes.
That's always been our problem, Gons, is that we're just too reasonable.
All right, there you go. That's that'll wrap it up for today.
Yeah, very good. It felt good. I like this old school thing. We got some stuff to catch up on next show, but there's always next show, So there you go. Thank you so much. Remember, let me thank everybody. I might read it out. No, I'm not going to do that. I can't take up any more administration time. But thank you to the 10 or so people who followed me on Twitter. If you haven't done it yet, follow me. I need it. I need this. I need to get the attention of Prosthesis Racing Mech. The only way they're going to pay me attention is if I have more followers than them, which is totally doable. It's totally doable.
Let me see if I can tweet at them and see if
you gotta help me with this thing. You have 8,000 followers. That's pretty good.
I was about to hit 10, and that's when Twitter did their little purge thing, and I lost about 2,000 followers.
Yikes, that's a lot.
Yeah, typical Twitter, typical YouTube. By the way, YouTube also they unsubbed like 300 people or something, so that elusive 264,000 is still out of reach. It's my glass ceiling.
You just keep chasing the dragon, John.
Chasing the dragon, yeah. To squash it with my heel or his heel. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna put in my Twitter link into the chat again, just for any latecomers. Okay. Make sure to say something. Follow me, say hi. I'll say hi back. That's what I'm there for. All right, I think that's it. You good for today?
I'm good. Yes.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in to this episode. I especially want to thank all of our producers. You really helped us bounce back from the emotional black hole that is not having a single producer come in for a few days. So thank you guys so very much. We could not do the show without our producers. I mean, that's the whole thing. Without the producers, the show just stops. So thank you very much. If you want to become a producer, help us out, rebel against the way of this world, really live with some, I consider it kingdom values. I don't want to get too theological on everybody here, but I think, helping to continue work that you consider to be kingdom work, to keep it going. That's exactly what we ask you people to do. Help us out. Become producers of the show. We'll be giving shout outs next show, which will be on Monday. What is that? September 7th, I believe. So make sure to tune in. Now, it is obvious.
Is that Labor Day?
It is Labor Day. Are you going to the beach?
I don't know. Might have to have a conversation.
Some chemtrails.
Yeah, I might have to have a conversation with the 8-month pregnant wife about having a show that day. But we may or may not have a show Monday. But
okay, well, we'll let everybody know. But check in. Now, here's the thing. I'm telling you guys, we are running at about 20% of our usual viewership, and that's because most of our viewership comes from YouTube, and YouTube is pretty bad at sending out notifications when we go live. So, if you're here, that's great. You made it. Make sure to follow us on multiple platforms so you know when we are going live. Twitch.tv/Canary Cry Radio is a great one. Turn on notifications. Even if you don't want to watch on Twitch, get Twitch and follow us. It'll give you the notifications because, something funky is happening over on YouTube, which is not surprising. That's why we've been building these other platforms, but there you go. So make sure to do that so you get the next notification, and make sure to, consider us for our next show, which will either be Monday or Wednesday next week, depending on Labor Day plans and pregnant wives. But remember us, because we need producers. We need the producer list to keep rolling, because that's how we keep moving. So thank you very much. Remember, you can go to patreon.com/CCNT, or you can go to canarycryradio.com/support.
canarycryradio.com/support.
And remember, don't tune out quite yet, because after the end of the show here, we got our Canary Cry mixtape, which has a great new song from Kellen, and also one by Gonz and I, and featuring Doc Future.
Yeah, we'll hear Dr. Future
Clip
in there. Yeah, it's a good old reference.
Forgot about that. So yeah, that'll be nice for our old school listeners. You will enjoy that very much. So stick around. But you can also help produce the show if financially is not in the cards for you. That's totally cool. We understand it's the beginning of the month and it's just whatever. It's just everything going on. We don't blame anybody for not being able to become a financial producer. But if you want to figure out other ways, you can make jingles, you can make art, you can write songs, any type of thing like that. You just send it to canarycryradio@gmail.com. We'll put it on the show, name you a producer. We appreciate that very much. And another great way to help out the show is to share the show. Leave ratings and reviews. That'll activate the algorithms. We had a review come in. I'm going to be reading that on next Friday's show. But if you leave a rating and or a review, that's really helpful. You can do that. The best way to do that is to Google search or DuckDuckGo or whatever you use for searching. Search Canary Cry News Talk Apple Podcasts, and that will take you right to our Apple Podcast page, where you can leave a rating and a review, and that's very helpful. The algorithms will tell people about the show. It's a great passive way to spread the truth. The other way is you got friends, you got family. They're all waking up, realizing that the world is not what it seems, and they're looking for ways to learn more without getting overwhelmed. I think Canary Cry News Talk is a great answer to that question. You just send them an episode. Send them this episode. Send them your favorite episode or whatever that is. You just send them a link, let them listen, get them in the club, in the family. Or if you have any other questions on how to wake them up, here's what you do. You'll just walk right up to them. You grab them by the cage, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right. Just ask Noah. All right, folks. Thank you so much. Make sure to tune in next time. Keep an eye on our social, Facebook, Twitter. Make sure to follow at Basil Rosewater on Twitter, and you'll get notifications on when our next episode is. And remember us again by becoming a producer. Thank you so much. And that's all, folks, for this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time. But until then, think outside the cage.
It will kill.
I'll keep you warm and safe in my people's zoo.
aliens.
Stop this progress before it is too late.
I'm for the robots.
You can't handle the truth.
Science is truth.
Look it up.
Called it.
It's gotta be biblical.
I tried to tell you.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Buy!
I wanna shake things up, shake things up. I wanna shake things up, shake things up. Leave the bird alone. I wanna stir up some controversy. I wanna rattle a few cages. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. A crusader for the little guy. Well, we'll see about that.
Whatever, Illuminati.
There's nothing to watch on my color TV. None of this news is what I want to see. I try tuning in to my radio. None of this talk is really quite the show for me. Finding good news is really quite the pain. Gotta find something I ain't got all day. Get on my YouTube, debates like the sun. See what's new, demonetization. Know what's this? To my surprise, I spot a big pair of googly eyes. Click on the video and turn up the sound. What is this gem that I have found? Canary. Cry radio, news talk, news talk.
There's a new sun rising up angry in the sky. There's a new voice saying we're not afraid to die. Let the whole world make believe it's blind and deaf and dumb. But nothing can change the shape of things to come. There are changes lying ahead in every road. And there are new thoughts, ready and waiting to explode. When tomorrow is the day, the bells be told for some. But nothing can change the shape of things to come.
I am Dr. Dr. Future with host Basil and Gons at Canary Cry Radio, and I invite you to join us as together we experience a future quake.
Dreams crowding out old realities. There's revolution sweeping in like a fresh new breeze. Let the old world make believe it's blind and deaf and dumb. But nothing can change the shape of things. Nothing can change the shape of things. Nothing can change the shape of things. Nothing can change the shape of things.
In the future, humans will be confined in a people's zoo.
People, I'll keep you safe and warm.